next generation just found its voice. America's first competition talk show. You're in the hub.
Brian and Brooke on the program all week long. I can't pass this opportunity up. I mean, we got a table full of entrepreneurs. You may be an entrepreneur yourself. And for all the negativity and pessimism that we have in our country right now about the economy, there's some hope out there. And I think it honestly is built around how you view things. Now, honestly, and we're going to have to give a note to our friend Matt Osley if you're listening online. We're going to start all this off by saying, I mean, you've got to account for Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Matt, I know you're going gaga. But ultimately, you can't talk about, and this is the danger, is that you get groupthink on a national scale when the basic necessities aren't being taken care of. I mean, let's face it, this Tea Party movement that started 2 years ago is a response to the basic necessities. We don't have the unemployment skyrocketing. The fact that I can't even go out, many Americans, over 10% right now, and it's been this way for some time, can't even go out and purchase the basic necessities. They don't want to be taking unemployment. Most Americans that were working do not want to be taking unemployment. They don't want to have an 18-month extension of unemployment benefits. They want a job because they want to be able to provide those basic necessities. But once you get beyond that, I want to talk about getting beyond that a little bit. I mean, how do you gear your brain to succeed when everything around you looks pretty bleak? I mean, as an entrepreneur, how do you approach that, Brian? What are the keys here? You're the man.
Yeah, well, let me put it this way. There is a book. I won't even say the name if I don't have to, okay?
You can say it.
I can?
Yeah, go for
it. Okay, Cash Flow Quadrant. That talks about people need to be, first of all, as an individual, need to make up their mind where they want to fall within this quadrant. Because control of your life is in your hand if you are in a specific sector of that quadrant. But if you are not, control falls someplace else.
Yeah.
Okay, very clearly. It does fall someplace else. So to get past the need that you're talking about, the basic, your food, your roof, you know what I mean, someplace to stay, the whole 9 yards, you've got to move forward and move beyond. What was the guy's name you just said? Mr.
Yeah.
Matt Osley.
Matt Osley, yeah. Your basic needs.
Your basic needs. To get beyond that, to make what you want to have happen, you've got to take control of your own life.
Well, and I think a lot of this, just to kind of toss it to Brooke, I think a lot of this has to do with the fact, and I mentioned this to a group just recently because we were talking about, they were looking at the 80-20 rule, that 20% of the people do 80% of the work in their organization. And I said, folks, the problem
is 95-5.
95-5 most of the time now. They were lamenting this and they were wondering, why can't we get more people involved? And so it's not your it's not a problem with you. It's a problem with the people coming. It's a lack of belief in oneself. The ultimate issue here is that the 85% of the people that are sitting in the room right now go to you to listen to you because it makes them feel almost a sense of gratification that someone's taking care of it, because I don't believe that I could take care of it. And I think you've got to address that first. Entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs because they inherently believe in taking risks. The only reason they'll take risks is because they believe in themselves.
Well, it's risk reward because with a huge amount of risk comes an enormous amount of reward. Because I worked in corporate America, and what I found is at about the decade mark, I was like, really? Is this all I'm
Is this all there is?
Is this all there is? And, a series of events happen, and it was like, this can't be it. This can't be it. So my brain for 2 years was thinking, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do that's going to be more satisfying, more engaging, on a higher level? And I think that the spirit of the entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what the economy looks like or whatever, or it doesn't, that is still something that's inside some of us. I would like to think it's inside all of us. We just need to educate people to look.
Well, and it's true. But I mean, you go back to the Great Depression. I mean, the Great Depression, the highest number of millionaires that this nation ever produced came out of the Great Depression era. Their companies were started during the Great Depression era. You mentioned...
I said the Inc. 500 list in 2009. Over 80% of them were created in the year after 9/11.
Yeah, the year following 9/11, while the world was falling apart and everyone was risk averse, they saw an opportunity. Not because they were just hedonistic or because they were fatalistic in that they believed, the world's let me grab all I can get while I can. No, they believed that some hope was in order.
When people lose their jobs, they start thinking about other things to do. People that want to be a doer.
You know what? I believe with all my heart that there are more people out there that want to, but because of fear, they do not.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of things that are keeping us handcuffed, all right? Attitudes, thoughts, our friends, commentary from the news, all the bad stuff that's taking place. People really do want, if you're out there listening, be honest with yourself. You would much rather be your own boss and have someone controlling your days, the weeks you take vacation, everything else. If you know you want to, release that fear and come to the dark side. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm just saying
is the dark side for a few years.
I mean, listen.
Sometimes longer than a few.
Yeah, but it's tough. But you know what? But the rewards, you said earlier, reward, right? Risk and reward.
The contrast.
Here's the sad story, but it's the absolute truth. But you have to understand, the risks are probably bigger than life, but the rewards will outweigh that once you actually achieve what you're trying to achieve.
And the paradox here is that life grows with the risk. Your life gets bigger than you imagined it being.
Yes, because
when you're
you
willing
start
to grow.
learning.
Well, see, and you know, at the risk of sounding like, I mean,
This is good stuff.
So many, and let me get at this, because so many Americans, you hear them talk about the American dream, the American dream, the American dream. We got to fulfill the American dream, and the American dream, when you sit down and talk to them, is security. It's a white picket fence and a house and 2.5,
right.
you know, and 2 cars and whatnot. That is not the American dream. If you ask someone who came to America from abroad, like several of my friends from the former communist Russia, they will tell you, we don't come to America because we want to have a house and a white picket fence. We come to America because your framers made a wager. And that wager was that man is capable of self-government. If you give him half a chance, he can achieve that. And that's exactly what we set out to do. The truth of the matter is, and the secret the framers had, and it's a secret that we as Americans have got to get our head back around, is that man sees himself as self-governing. He will take those risks. And honestly, when you build a nation on free market capitalism, it only survives on innovation. Innovation only happens when you're willing to take a risk. And you're not willing to take a risk until you believe in yourself.
Well, I don't think innovation has gone anywhere in this country. I think the problem is that it's the next step that's gone somewhere. Because what's happened, like if you look at technology, we still come up with the ideas in this country. It's the other countries that take them and manufacture them, or, like China. What China's good at is copying everything.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that they are really good at, is they are really quick at copying everything, but they still don't have the great thinkers, you know what I mean, that are producing the ideas and it's still not an environment.
They're
that
like a
breeds
FedEx
thought.
store with 2.5 billion people in it. Amazing. They're like a national Xerox copy machine. And ultimately, they do a real good job at that. But we're the ones that innovate. And ultimately, I believe it is a fundamental belief in man and woman's capacity that our framers had that was unique in the American model of saying the only person that ultimately that can enslave you is yourself. And even though we didn't, I mean, speaking about the very issue of slavery, we didn't live up to our own ideals.
He points to the black man for that.
Well, I have to, because she wasn't. But I have to admit our honesty about who we are. We made our mistakes. But that wasn't because we were filling our ideal. I can't see color. I'm colorblind.
Come on, we're talking.
It's because we were it was because we weren't living up to our ideal. Our ideal set forth was something we had to finally get ourselves together on, and that's where we address that issue.
Yeah, well, I can tell you right now, if our country wants to make some serious movements forward, we have to have more people become entrepreneurs and make their own way. Because there are so many things that we cannot control, but if you control how you make your income, the money you bring in, and let's not fool ourselves, it is all about money. I mean, we know for a fact that money moves mountains. It's sad, but it's true.
But it's also reflective of fruits of your labor. That's what money. We don't even look at it like that anymore.
Here's the thing.
It's like paycheck.
And it's not so much the money. It's what the money that you get, what you can do with it. I'm sure people out there listening to this program, watch this program, have tons of things, hopes and desires that they can work toward or help someone. And if you yourself are able to make whatever it is you need to make to give into your church, synagogue, or whatever you're worshiping, or just an organization, breast cancer, the whole 9 yards, if you were able to make that type of capital to give to those organizations, you can change this country. All the poverty that takes place in this country, if the right people get the money, if the right people become entrepreneurs, say, you know what, the heck with this corporate America controlling my life. And corporate America, let me not say anything bad about you, because you've gave a lot of folks jobs. That's great.
Yeah.
But jobs, again, I've heard just over broke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It keeps you just to the point. People work for you just hard enough not to lose their job. They can keep paying their bills.
Well,
No
and the
courage
saddest,
left.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I mean? That's
and
right.
the saddest
No
and the
courage.
saddest
Crazy.
thing I've heard this week was a story of a gentleman that had lost his job several times over in the last couple of years, and he's what do I ask you? What is he trying to do now? He's going out and he's looking for a job. He's looking for a job. He is delaying life until he finds a job because he does not believe in himself enough to believe that he could just make it happen, that he could just start out and make it happen. And there's certainly there are certainly different categories, but I think we're moving into an era that's going to call for innovation again. Right now, $2 trillion, in excess of $2 trillion sitting in private capital in America alone that's not being invested. And it's not being invested because it's not just the lack, the danger of government regulation. It's also not being invested because people are depressed. People don't believe in their own ability, and there's not the level of innovation coming out of us that there once was. I truly believe that. I think a big part of it is that when you stop to, if we can reach a point where we are no longer looking at somebody on the stage, at somebody behind the camera, at somebody in any it's posture. If we can quit sitting in rows and sit in circles and be in community again, we'll start to see ourselves for our potential because we've got people giving us honest feedback rather than the only feedback we ever get is from the guy over us or in ourselves. And it's really hard to motivate yourself in and of yourself. You need that kind of feedback. And I bring this up because for the last year, and really for the last 4 or 5 years with the Hub radio show, which became the Hub Internet show, we set out to try and model this. Model what does it look like to be in a circle, to be in an open-ended community. We're going to take that a step. Now, we're going to take that 1,000 steps further later this year and give you some keys for accomplishing that in your own life. Possibly one of the most powerful platforms that we've seen yet. And you're going to hear more about it. We're going to tease it out a little bit more, but get ready for it because it's going to call you out to be living in authentic community and give you the tools to do it. We'll see you tomorrow on The Hub.